This is Tom, a self-made entrepreneur who does over $30 million per year with his portfolio of 6 different trade businesses. What makes his strategy unique is acquisition.
I was doing everything from typing invoices when I first started to sales, flying all over the United States. We own 6 different service companies. We've expanded from distribution to service. Target goal for us is 50 to 100 million in sales. You know, as part of being an entrepreneur, when you first start the company, you're doing everything.
He started from complete scratch and attributes most of his success to sales. Watch this entire interview till the end because you're going to get secrets from a master salesman whose goal is $100 million. Can you kind of lead me through your early life before college, kind of where you grew up and then where you went to college, and we'll go from there.
I grew up in Elk Grove Village all my life and went to Loyola University, graduated in 1991. After graduation, I worked for a very small company out of college. I took an opportunity selling lighting for really a husband and wife owner. And I worked there for 11 years. He taught me the business of the lighting industry, and I learned the business from the ground floor. I was doing everything from typing invoices when I first started to sales, flying all over the United States. But basically, we grew his company from about $300,000 to about $10 million over a 7-year period. And I had the opportunity, being on the ground floor, to learn the business from the ground floor, and it was a great experience for me. Without that experience, I don't think I'd be where I am today, starting my own business. It showed me how to, start a business from basically nothing and build it into something.
So can you lead me into your first venture after you left that company?
Our first venture was, we started a company called Illinois Lighting, which was a distributor of light bulbs and fixtures. And we sold light bulbs and fixtures all across the United States. Our biggest contract we got within the first 2 years of starting the company, we landed a $8 million Elk Grove Village renovation project. We sold all the street signs and street lights for the entire village, and it kind of was being in the right place at the right time. We got very lucky because that really gave our business a catapult with a huge contract like that. It was a great start for us.
Awesome. So how do you go from being a distributor to now being in the service industry?
So we got into the service industry out of a bad debt. We were selling a contractor material he couldn't afford to pay us, so he dropped off his title to his boom truck and said, "Look, this is all I have to pay you. I'm moving to Florida," and he left his boom truck in front of our office.
Okay.
So what happened then was an electrician came to pick up material from us and asked us what we're doing with the boom truck, and he mentioned, that he was a licensed electrician and he operated that. And he asked if we had any work for it. Now, because we had accounts with, big end users like Woodfield Mall and Fifth Third Bank and Willow Creek Church, I called some of my good customers and asked them, "Hey, who does your parking lot lighting? Who does your pole lighting?" And that's how we got into the lighting maintenance business. One thing we did is we did things very methodically. We didn't go out and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on new equipment. Mm-hmm. We bought used equipment to start until we realized, what we were doing, because you're going to make mistakes on buying different equipment. So we bought another used piece of equipment and another used piece of equipment, and then eventually we started buying newer equipment as the years went on, and we started seeing, the viability of the business.
So you mentioned that you have multiple businesses now. So can you kind of give me the rundown of how you started with one company, now acquired another company, and then how you've acquired companies over time?
So we started with Illinois Lighting, and through the bad debt, we got into the electrical business, service business, which was a completely different business than our distributor business. But they went together because now our advantage over other contractors is we were buying all our material wholesale. Where other contractors would have to go to a distributor to buy the material, we already had that in place. So we had advantages over other electrical contractors because we were set up direct with GE, we were set up direct with Lithonia and Cooper, all the fixture manufacturers and all the lighting companies we were buying direct. So it gave us a big advantage. So after we started TCL Electric, our next company was a construction company. We started doing general construction for Fifth Third Bank. And what happened there was we were doing all their electrical. We started getting involved in build outs and concrete and asphalt. And we started that company, which was Allied Construction. After that company, we started Florida. We expanded to Florida because of our national accounts. We were able to get in Fifth Third, Speedway, Circle K gas station. We opened a branch in Sarasota, Florida. And about at the same time, we started a plumbing company. We were doing a lot of plumbing work now for a lot of these national accounts. So instead of subcontracting it like we ended up seeing an opportunity to self-perform it. So we ended up buying a small plumbing company with 2 people, and we expanded that within 3 years to 10, 12 plumbers and HVAC techs. And our last acquisition was a residential-based HVAC company out of Beach Park called Modern Heating. The plan there is to expand into plumbing and electrical. And we just closed on a building in Gurnee for that company. And our 3-year goal is to get the plumbing and electrical business going up there too. So ultimately, we want to be a one-stop shop for our customers. We want to be able to do self-perform plumbing, heating, electric, and lighting.
Great. So how do you manage all these businesses?
So we manage them by having, obviously, each division has a key manager, right? It's all about having good employees and good managers and good people, right? And the owners, John and myself, the way we manage it is, we do have weekly meetings, and, we have key indicator, reports we get from the businesses that we go over every week. And, you're looking at receivables and payables and sales and profitability for the month and quarter and, equipment that needs to be done and purchased, that kind of thing. That's kind of how we keep an eye on it.
How do you buy in a business and then integrate it with your existing portfolio seamlessly?
It's never seamlessly.
No.
No, it's not. So let's get that on the table right away. Okay.
Right.
There's always bumps in everything you do. My recommendation is change very little at the beginning. Okay. Make slow integrations, your culture, your accounting systems, try to improve on what they have and then tweak it over the first 18 months. But I have found through experience and through my friends' experience that have bought businesses, try not to change too much at first.
Really?
I think it's the key, yeah. Because it's a new business, you have new owners, everybody's a little jittery to begin with. And, if you come in there and start changing everything from, hey, this is the way we do this, and it's obviously the business has worked, over the time period. You wouldn't be buying it. So I try to change very little from the beginning. Slowly enter our systems in place over time.
So if you're buying a business-to-consumer plumbing company, do you go and interview employees, or do you just interview managerial roles? What does that look like?
So part of the process of buying the business, initially they don't want you meeting with any employees because most companies don't want you to know that they're selling their company. So that's usually a last step. So I'm looking at, how long, when they give you the prospectus of the company, how long have the, employees been there? What's their longevity? How are they getting paid? That type of thing. And the last step of the process is usually meeting with the employees.
Okay, so you own all these businesses, right? You have this portfolio of 6 different companies. What's your plan for the next 5 or 10 years? Is there a reason why you're acquiring new companies?
Well, we acquired companies and we started them organically. The plan would be to build and keep acquiring companies. We're going to do it through acquisition over the next 5 to 10 years, and eventually either turn it over to our kids, family members, or sell it. But the plan is to build our EBITDA up to a point where you get a higher multiplier.
Interesting. So that target goal, what is that target goal?
Target goal for us is 50 to 100 million in sales.
Interesting. Okay. And then what does a company like yours get as far as EBITDA? A multiple?
Anywhere when you start hitting those 50, 100 million in sales and your EBITDA starts getting to the north of 5 million, the multiplier obviously increases. Right now you're probably at a 3 to 5. And once you hit that 5 million, you're probably anywhere from 5 to 10 times EBITDA. So that would be the goal.
So when we keep talking here, you keep using the word we. Can you talk a little bit about your partner, how you guys met, how you guys ultimately decided to start doing business
I met
together?
my partner probably 25 years ago. He worked for me as a sales rep, and he wanted to start his own company. I did, and we eventually left that company that we worked for, and we've been together on this journey for the last 25 years.
So what makes a good partnership?
Trust, honesty. The key, I also think, to a partnership is dividing the responsibilities. From day one, John was more of an operations person and I was more a salesperson. So he handled the inside, I always did the outside. I'd handle sales, he would handle the inside operations. And we kind of let each other do our own thing. And it worked out really well for us. I mean, we've had over 20 some years, I don't think we've ever had any major arguments ever. If there's something he wanted to do that I didn't agree with it, I would tell him, you make the decision, you do it, and vice versa. And, it's one of those things that we just work really well together, but we also have separate responsibilities, and we're accountable for it. And the other thing is aligning your goals, we talk about buying buildings, we talk about buying companies, we're on the same page with that. So I think that's the key to having a long-term partnership.
Awesome. So can you go a little bit more into when you first started the business, how your roles have changed over time?
Well, when you first started, you obviously have zero sales, right? So, it's all hands on deck. You're working in the warehouse to delivering product, to selling it, to billing it, invoicing it, collecting it. So you have to do everything. As part of being an entrepreneur, when you first start the company, you're doing everything. So as the company grows, you hire people to do different, functions of the company. But in the beginning, you're doing everything. It's a one-stop shop. It's 24 hours a day. You or your partner are handling.
Would you say you've gotten lucky?
Sure. A lot of times, being in the right place at the right time. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think there's a few things that make it successful company. Number one, you have to sell. Number two, there's a little bit of luck. You land a big project that gets you on your feet, brings in a lot of revenue, that type of thing. Getting lucky, getting good employees. We were very lucky when we started the electrical division. We hired a operations manager, Scott Kramer, who was one of our customers, but John and I really didn't have electrical background, and we started this company with no electrical background, just to hire an electrician to start it. And Scott kind of brought us all that knowledge and the lighting maintenance. He had 15 years of experience. So it's all about getting the right people, in my opinion, too. So a little bit of luck, hard work, and hiring the right people are the three most important things.
Kind of give me like an exact number, like what number are you dealing with accounts payable?
Right. Yeah, right now we probably have in receivables $5 to $7 million on the street, that we need to collect. That's 0 to 30, 30 to 60, and stuff that's over 90. And those are the things you need to look at, at a higher level. When you grow your company, you need to keep an eye on your receivables and your payables, and it always is a good idea to get with a bank and get a line of credit when you get established. You never know when you need some of that money, to help when you're having problems collecting money. But lines of credit are very good to have, but also could be very bad because it's something that's real easy to use and hard to pay back.
Yeah.
Got to have a plan to pay back your debt.
Interesting.
Always. A lot of companies that start off and fail because, the owner says, oh, I see I've got $100,000 in my account. I'm going to take $50,000, $70,000 in salary. And you can't do that. You need to keep money in your company because you never know when it's going to get slow. You never know when you're going to have a hard time collecting your money, and you've always got to pay your vendors and you got to pay your employees. You're the last one to get paid.
So how important is having sales as a skill?
Sales is super important. Yeah. I mean, your business doesn't function without sales, right? Three things you need to do. You need to sell, you need to collect your money, and you need to have good employees.
So what makes a good salesman?
And you can't spend more than you make. Critical piece of advice right there. Getting back to what I was telling you before, I've had guys that start companies and they get big contracts and they go out and buy brand new cars.
Yeah.
Okay, they go out and buy. We had a business partner that we brought in that we landed big contracts with banks doing remodel projects. He was buying brand new cars right out the gate. You can't spend more than you make.
Yeah.
So it's a super important piece of advice there too.
How can somebody looking to get into sales master sales?
Master sales. I mean, sales. It takes hard work and follow through. Follow up is super important. You need to be motivated. You need to follow through. You need to do what you say, and you need to be able to build those relationships. Those would be the 4 key ingredients, I would say. If you're going to be successful, it's not an 8 to 5 job. My phone's on 24 hours a day still, and we're 20 years into this. When customers call you, you got to answer, right? You have to answer. You have to be able to produce what you're selling, and you have to price it fairly because we need to make a profit. Profit's not a dirty word, right?
Yep.
Companies need to make money, and you have to service your customers. I'm in a service business, so for me, everything is service. You have to be able to produce.
So what's been your biggest struggle so far since being a business owner?
I think the biggest struggle is the secret sauce, the recipe on, do you hire more electricians? Do you have the work? Does it justify it? Mm-hmm. And then as you grow in your business, you need to have a space, and that becomes a struggle sometimes too.
So if you had to completely start over from scratch today, everything was taken away, what would you do?
Same thing.
Really?
Yeah, probably, yeah. I like what I do. I mean, one thing is when you own your own business and you like what you do, it's not work. Never in 25 years have I gotten out of bed and say, oh, I don't want to go to work today. Do we have headaches every day? Absolutely. Does that happen? Yes. But I still like what I do. I love the thrill of the kill. I love getting new accounts. I still like doing sales. I still like what we're doing. Would I do it all over again? Sure. Would I do some things differently? Absolutely. Are you going to make mistakes on your journey? Yes, you are.
Yeah.
But you're going to learn from them, sometimes the hard way.
Yep. So what's your number one piece of advice to anybody looking to start a business?
Have a good plan in place. Make sure you're properly funded, and you're going to work your ass off. And definitely, you just need to keep your eye on a few key things. You need sales. You need to collect your money, and you can't spend more than you make. If you do those 3 things, you'll make it to 5 years.
Great. Well, that's pretty much it. So thank you, Tom.
No problem.
Anything that you'd like to promote or leave us off with? Anything?
No, thank you, and best of luck.
Appreciate it. Thanks.